Well, we are joined by Alex Benson of Born to Compete. We appreciate you taking some time in and talking with us. And we have a big proposal coming from the GHSA as now high school athletes who change schools twice after the 9th grade will be ineligible for a year under this new rule. This proposal will be voted on later in the summer. Of course, I just got to ask off the top, your thoughts on this. This is a good idea.
You know, I understand all the sides. I hate to do that, right? I'm straddling the fence here. But I understand what GHSA is doing because I'm sure they've gotten pressure from ADs and different communities that say, hey, this is not right. They're stealing our players, right? You know, we can't steal no players, but that's what's being said. But then also, too, I understand the player side and parent side. You know, hey, if we feel where we're at isn't adequate enough, why can't we go somewhere else where the facilities are better, the coaching is better, everything else is just better, and we can go there and be productive. So I understand where both sides are coming from.
And where do you think the problems will come with a proposal like this, though?
Yeah, okay, all right. That the second move. The second move is the big thing, and I was calling a lot of people before I came over here, and I said, you know, hey, what's up with the second move thing? And so they said, you can become eligible, but you're ineligible once you make that move. So here's what I'm trying to say. Let's say you played at Parkview, all right? Then you make the move to North Gwinnett, all right? That's your one move, right? Then you go from North Gwinnett to whatever school. Now, on this second move, you can do it. You will be ineligible from the jump, but you have to file a hardship and get that hardship passed to obviously be eligible. So that's really what the rule is. So that's what they're trying to do. And they said it's really not all the transfers that's going on. It's just the multiple transfers that's really alarmed them that is making people say, okay, hey, we need to put something in to stop this.
And I'm sure you can understand this, that there's always going to be a way to get around this thing.
Yes,
right?
I'm sure.
And that's what I want to know. If there is a way to get around this. Now, we're not saying that's what you want to do by any means.
Not at all,
but
not at all.
It just seems like it's almost inevitable that it's going to happen. I mean, how do you combat that and make sure that it doesn't just people apply, make sure that they don't just get around it like every other thing that we've tried to obviously put parameters on?
Well, here's the deal, right? So the AD is the one that's turning the paperwork. And so now we're basically turning our ADs into compliance officers. So you're going to have the ADs, I guess, running around streets here trying to see if kids are living where they're living. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that because we're already putting workload on people that are amazing workers here in the state of Georgia, those ADs, especially like, your big ADs, your big schools. They're already dealing with enough. So now they have to deal with this too. Is going to be something that's going to be a little bit tougher. I would like to see if GHSA really wanted this rule in, then maybe you form your own committee, and you guys do the policing yourselves. But adding this to the 80s plate, now that's a little bit tough. That's a little bit tough, and that's a lot to ask.
That is a lot to ask, but at the same time, we've talked about maybe some of the struggles that are going to come with this, but what are some of the positives that could come from something like this?
Well, okay. I say this in just because I understand, how things go. But at the same time, people are going to be staying home, so to speak, right? People are going to be staying home and playing where, they're playing where they pay rent at, so to speak. And people, look, man, sometimes it's just not where you want to be. And so you want to move to a better situation. So I guess at the end of the day, it helps with the parity of things. So probably that's what you're going to see. That's what they hope, but only time will tell. Here's what I'm going to say about this, and this is with all due respect to all schools and to all entities, including our governing body with GHSA, because they do a great job down there. If a parent wants to be somewhere else, they're going to be somewhere else.
Right.
And they're not going to do nothing illegal. They're going to do it the right way. They're going to do within the rules. But those schools that have created this great atmosphere for players to come play, whether it's a Buford, Grayson, so on and so on, North Oconee, all those type of schools, different type of schools, the kid's still going to go there. That's not going to change, because parents want what's best for their children. And we all know, hey, if you're a parent right here watching, they all know that I'm going to do anything for my child.
Right.
So they will.
And is that bad to look at it that you want to put your kid in the best situation possible in order to take that next step, want to go play college football, want to make it to the big leagues like everybody does who plays college athletics. But even when you're starting in high school, like, is it wrong to look at it like that they want to put their kids in the best position?
No, because everything's changed.
Yeah.
I think that we have to understand the transfer portal has changed recruiting
exactly
so much, right? You were in school at your time. And now with the transfer portal being a part of it, if you're not a 4 or a 5-star, Power 4 schools are a little bit tougher to get into. G5 is a little bit tougher to get into. Now, if you're a 3-star and below, you're probably looking at FCS and trying to fight your way up, climb your way up. So it's different, right? Whereas when we graduated, hey, they'll take a flyer on a smaller player or whatever, or a player they think they can develop. Development's gone. Like if you can't come in day one and be 80% of what I need on this field, then we have to move on, right? And a lot of things they aren't saying, yes, players are going to transfer portal, but this, players are being pushed into the transfer portal. That's the dirty secret of this about college football nobody's talking about. And probably more players being pushed into the transfer portal than players going themselves. So with that being said, if you can get into a great program early, you can get your name out there early, then hey, good for you. If that program's not working for you, we ain't got time. We got to move on and find somewhere else that your kid can get on the field and be productive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is there anything you would change about this proposal if you could?
Man, I tell you what, it's funny. I was just talking with a good friend, Rusty. We were just talking, and I told him, here's my out of the box idea, right? Just far left field, pie in the sky type of stuff, man. I would honestly treat everybody almost like a private school or a city school, because the city school still has the same rules, kind of basically. I would say, okay, hey, here's a certain amount of money that you have to pay, because at the end of the day, it's all come back taxes. Here's a certain amount of money you got to pay. Let's say you want to leave Parkview and go to North Gwinnett, that's fine. Then you pay your $5,000 or whatever, that money goes to Parkview. You leave, go to North Gwinnett. You know what I'm saying? Or make their first transfer, if they want to transfer, make that first one, they'll be fine. They don't have to move, stay where you are. And then you won't have to chase all this, right? Because you're putting a lot of work on ADs, you're putting a lot of work on GHSA, and you're making a situation that we all know when you put a rule in first, somebody has to be the example. And I just don't want to see that happen to what I love, which is Georgia high school sports.
How drastic do you think this could make Georgia high school sports then? I'm talking big picture down the road. How
picture
drastic?
down the road. I'll tell you what, there was a couple things that's coming down, right? So GFL, Youth Football League, that's very, very popular. They just said, okay, everybody's cluster-based now. So basically kind of the same thing was going on. Now they're starting to do this, they're cracking down at the high school level. I think maybe in a couple of years, here's what I'm going to say this the right way. I hope people can take this the right way. The schools are going to reflect their areas now. I hope people get what I'm saying by that. I'm not saying anything disrespectful, anything wrong, but the schools are going to reflect their areas. So if you have an area that produces athletes, then that's what it would be. If you have an area that does not produce athletes, then that's what you're going to see.
We'll still see powerhouses.
You'll still see powerhouses.
But maybe at some other schools that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, but it'll be some schools you haven't seen before, schools that kids were leaving and going to different places. Now, if they can't get around the rule, then they'll stay. So you might not see a huge uptick, but you'll see those schools being more, playoff contenders.
So the last question I have, at least, is this fair in general? Is it fair for the GSHA to step in and do this?
Well, again, I look at it two sides, right? So on one side, here's the GHSA side, right? They must have heard a lot of complaining because you wouldn't do this if somebody wasn't, in your ear, saying all that kind of stuff and making you do something.
Right.
So that's not what you do, right? So they're doing what they feel they have to do to satisfy their customer. Their customer are the schools, right? That's what it is at the end of the day. For the parents, is it fair? I can't necessarily say it's fair, but at least you know the rules that you're playing with. And so if you know the rules you're playing with, then you understand, okay, here's what we got to do, and here's how you get around it. And not say get around it, but here's how you play within the rules.
And another thing, like you said, it's not fair to the ADs either, because that's
I just
that's
don't.
a lot of work.
I don't agree with that part right there, because a lot of good friends of mine are ADs, and you're already putting a lot of work on them that they have to do, and you're putting them in a decision-making position where, in some situations, not all, in some situations, they're going to become public enemy number one, because some ADs are going to be like, look, man, I don't know if it's going to go through. This isn't, my job's on the line. And now they become the bad guy if they say no, right? So those are the only things that I don't like. I kind of wish GHSA would handle it themselves, but it is what it is. The rule is what it is. And now that we know the rule, then people can adjust and, play within the rule.
And we're going to have to see, because they did say they were going to vote on it later this summer, Alex.
August 1st. About to see all them transfers come in tomorrow.
You heard it here, August 1st. Alex, we appreciate you so much.
No doubt,
man.
man.
Thank you so much.
All right.